Well, the Badgers are closing out the non-conference portion of their regular season schedule, and then a gap after the Detroit Mercy game. The Badgers will not play again until January 3rd when they jump back into Big Ten play right here at the Kohl Center against the Iowa Hawkeyes. On today's show, we'll visit with a couple of Minnesota natives from apparently rival towns, Nolan Winter from Lakeville and Janicki from White Bear Lake, and we'll check in with Badgers head coach Coach Gard. All coming up on this week's edition of the Badgers Sports Report.
This is Wisconsin basketball. Hands off the screen of Crowd. Klesman for three, and he buries it. Blackwell driving right lane line, runs it up and in off the glass. Tapped by Crowd, picked up Winter, finds Tajay down the lane, slam dunk. Slips it in the crowd, low on the left, slam dunk. Finds McGee, low on the left, he'll finish.
The Badger Sports Report is presented by UW Health. UW Health Sports Medicine, treating the Badgers, treating you. And is brought to you by Construction Business Group, Wisconsin operating engineers and respected contractors, building Wisconsin together. And by Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
This is a hallway. Doesn't evoke much feeling. But to those facing cancer or a complex condition, it feels like relief. Because all the doctors, treatments, and technology you've been fighting to find, they're all right here, under one roof, connected by hallways instead of highways. Welcome to East Park Medical Center. UW Health. Remarkable.
At Gruber Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today, proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
My name is Kels Morrissey. I've been with Hy-Vee for 12 years. For 95 years, Hy-Vee was known on its quality and service, and right now that isn't enough, which is why we lowered thousands of prices. It pains me to know that customers are having to choose different retailers, some of which don't offer the quality that Hy-Vee does, just to make ends meet on their grocery shopping. We need to gain the customer's trust back that we have the best prices, and I guarantee you that going forward, we will.
Clear your path to a great career today. Climb to reach your career potential with no loans and no debt, so you can earn while you learn. A Wisconsin Operating Engineer's Apprenticeship is your opportunity to work outdoors and get heavy equipment experience. Partner with your employer for serious pay, great health and pension benefits. Acquire real-world experience while building Wisconsin together. To start your career journey, visit join139.com today.
We talk so much about the transfer portal, and with reason. That's a major part now of college athletics, but so is high school recruiting, and this is a chance on this platform to hear from the head coach about the three signees who will be here and up and running for next season. A little international flavor and a couple of in-state guys as well. So let's go inside out, the shortest commute to the longest one, if you will. Will Garlock out of Middleton High School. Tell us about him a little bit.
Yeah, a 7-footer who I think is still just not even close to where he will be in terms of his potential. Really runs, jumps. Battling through some injuries here early that he had it happen in the spring. So he's working his way back and starting to play now for Middleton. But from the first time I watched him, just the potential that you see. When you have a guy that size that can move, he's pretty skilled. He really a really good athlete at 7 feet. So you see you crystal ball the big guys a little bit, or sometimes a lot, and forecast or kind of envision what they can be down the road. And I think, he's got a ways to go, but when you have those physical attributes, that's going to be fun to work with.
And then staying in state, Zach Kinziger out of De Pere.
Yeah, Zach, quite frankly, may be the best player in the state. I mean, he's we've had some that have left the state to go to prep schools. Zach just wins. He can score in bunches. He's at 30 already this year in a game. and he just understands winning. He's really tough. He's very competitive, can play either guard spot. So he's a lot like, I don't like to compare the past, but a lot like the guards we've had in the past that just are gritty and are on winning teams.
And then the commute, I'll use that in air quotes. Tell us a little bit about
It's a long one.
Hayden
Yeah.
Jones, from New Zealand, Hayden Jones.
Yeah, the first Kiwi since Kirk Penny.
Yes.
And then the connection, obviously, to Kirk is real and pretty deep. He actually Kirk played with Hayden's dad, Phil, professionally for about 12 years. And obviously they've known each other forever. So that really fast-tracked our recruitment with him. But 6'7", really good guard skills, perimeter, still growing a little bit. Has played with their national teams, playing in the World Cup. They're in reverse seasons, so it's they're about to go into their spring, summer there, and their seasons are wrapping up. So he'll start playing here more with the Tall Blacks and national team. He's got some World Cup and other responsibilities this summer. So his arrival won't be until after that is done in July. But he's gotten so much experience from what he's done, not only in New Zealand and the development program there, but what he's done worldwide with the games he's played in.
The talent pool just seems to be so much deeper than, I always think of the Dream Team, the 92 Olympics, and how international basketball seemingly exploded after that. It was probably in the works before, but
Right.
pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think just what we've watched, and we're not the only ones. I think everybody's kind of discovered this secret, or it's not a secret anymore, that the international countries, specifically in Europe, do such a phenomenal job, and I got to throw Australia and New Zealand in with that as well. The developmental piece of it, the way they track and route their young players through their programs, and really you don't get to advance until you develop. So what we found in terms of the recruiting, you're getting a very well-schooled player. You're getting most like an older player, and then the competition they played against, because they can cross over and play in different professional leagues and get exposed to grown men, so to speak, that have been doing this for a long time. I think just they come with so much more experience to the table, even if they're the same age. An 18-year-old in Serbia has way more experience at a higher level than what an 18-year-old does coming from the States, just because of how they've been trained, what they've been exposed to. So, South America is and Africa is starting to catch up. Africa and basketball in Africa is really starting to grow, and there's an NBA Global Academy there. But the European area is really a very rich, talented, and a deep talent pool that's there that we're excited to continue to explore.
Yeah, spend 5 minutes watching an NBA game, and you know exactly what Coach Gard is talking about, and more now at the college level. Having said all that, I know fans here in the state are excited. Now, look, Minnesota has been and continues to be really good to the Wisconsin Badgers and other areas, but you can get a couple from in-state. And I don't know, you tell me, it seems like there's a little bit of a cycle in this state. Some years, maybe a 2 or 3 year block is like, whoa, and then others maybe not quite as much, but this is a pretty good little run right now.
Yeah, I mean, and every state goes through the cycles, and I've talked about that for 20 years. I've just noticed that, and we're still going to recruit Wisconsin really hard, Minnesota. That's not changing, even though we have the transfer portal and international recruiting added to our layer of our access points, so to speak. But Wisconsin, Minnesota, Northern Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, all the states that we touch, Iowa to a degree, and you watch all those states go through ebbs and flows. There's years when our state really has a lot of players that can play at this level, and then there's years where there's not. So you just you ride those waves, and I don't think you become so dependent on one specific region or one specific state, because there's talent everywhere. And what we've watched even with the portal, a great example is Max Klesmit. Wasn't recruited at this level coming out of high school. Went to Wofford, developed a little bit. Now he's at this level. So there's a lot of different ways, a lot of avenues and doorways to get to this level. It doesn't always have to be the direct line right out of high school.
And a lot of, I would think, there's still the relationships can matter with yourself and the coaches in the state. Lance Randall coming back to the state. I mean, people are familiar with Greg Steensma and Joe and Kirk and all those guys, but you and Lance growing up,
Right.
here, that doesn't hurt, right?
Yeah, there's not many high schools that between the two of us we haven't been in across the state. So yeah, we're pretty well versed on who's who of high school basketball in the state, and I think it's been neat to watch it grow and the opportunities. Just when him and I were growing up, there wasn't AAU basketball. There was one in Milwaukee, and it was basically an all-star team. The rest of us you just played with your high school team in the summer, and you basically stayed in state and did different things. But the opportunities that kids have now, almost 40 years later, is amazing.
All right, exciting times. The portal remains a big part of it, no question about it. But that signing class also one of great intrigue, I know, for Badger fans. We'll take a break. More to come as we continue with the Badger Sports Report.
We believe in education. We believe in public schools. At WEA Member Benefits, we believe in helping Wisconsin public school employees and their families achieve their financial goals by providing personal insurance, retirement and investment, and financial planning programs that are designed specifically for the education community. Proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics, WEAbenefits.com.
My name is Kels Morrissey. I've been with Hy-Vee for 12 years. For 95 years, Hy-Vee was known on its quality and service, and right now that isn't enough, which is why we lowered thousands of prices. It pains me to know that customers are having to choose different retailers, some of which don't offer the quality that Hy-Vee does, just to make ends meet on their grocery shopping. We need to gain the customer's trust back that we have the best prices, and I guarantee you that going forward, we will.
Well, every year there are newcomers, but keep in mind every year roles can change with guys who are coming back. That's the case with John Blackwell. It's the case with this guy here, Nolan Winter. The minutes per game has ramped up about double of what it was last year. Tell us about it. John's talked about it, or how his role has changed. What about for you? How has it changed? And how you feeling about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome so far. It's been a really fun year. For me personally, my role, just really trying to do whatever it takes to win every night, whether it's playing more minutes of the 4 or the 5, really whatever coach needs. And, rebounding, I feel like something that I can bring to the team, along with stretching out at the floor, being able to hit the 3 ball at my size is be very beneficial for us. So I'm really just whatever the game brings to us, and throughout the course of the game, I'm just trying to do whatever it takes to win. But yeah, it's been an awesome year so far.
I know the Coach Gard's always talked about you were more than willing last year. You never back down from sticking your nose in there. But a little stronger. You feel like an increased strength has allowed you to match up a little better with some of those big dudes that you're going to be up against day in and day out?
Yeah, I mean, I put a lot of time in with Snides in the weight room this summer, so obviously I think that's going to help. But I feel like I was raised by my parents to be like, whether you're down 50 pounds or 50 pounds, you got to just it's all heart. So, I mean, that was kind of my motto last year. Like, I don't care if it's Zach Edey I'm going up against or whoever. Like, I'm just going to go in there, throw my body in there, and just go to work. So, but yeah, I feel stronger this year for sure, and more capable of kind of holding my own.
What's the bigger challenge? The reason I want to preface the question, I work with Brian Butch, and he talked about he kind of hated going up against teams that maybe 6'7", 6'8", was as tall as it. Yeah. Now you've gone the Zach Edeys of the world, guys like with Arizona, with Michigan. What's the one that you kind of like what's the bigger challenge? The smaller guys with quickness, or the big dudes, or
honestly, as crazy as it sounds, but Steven would agree too. We talk about this, playing against like smaller, quicker dudes, like. We should be able to dominate, and I think we've held our own against them. But, they just love to run around and stretch out the 7-footers on the court, which is fine, and I think we did a solid job kind of guarding there and getting out there. But it's a completely different game when you have 5 dudes that can play point guard, and then you got me and Steve out there who's 7 foot. It's just a completely different game. But that's kind of what basketball is now. Everyone's able to run around and shoot and do that kind of stuff. So we're just trying to adapt to that, and I think we've done a pretty good job. But yeah, playing against those guys, it's kind of like we're ready for Big Ten play to come around and these bigger opponents. So,
that's exactly what Brian said.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is you're a big dude who can move around and can shoot. So that's something that part of what's going on now is right in your wheelhouse, right? I mean, you're a big dude. big guy, but you can step out to 3 and you feel pretty comfortable there, right?
Yeah, and we've made it a point of emphasis. I got to get more up. I just got to stay confident in it. I know I'm a good shooter. Throughout my childhood, I played like point guard, so I know I got that shot in me and just kind of what it takes. So just trusting it and getting more up and letting it flow.
How fun is this offense right now?
It's awesome.
Fans are loving it, what you're doing. What makes it that much fun for you?
All 5 of us, or everyone who steps on the court loves the offense. It's fast-paced. It kind of feels like a newer era of basketball. It's getting up and down. And every time someone catches it, we're looking to score. It's not like, okay, let's get it on, let's go through this set and do that kind of stuff. It's like boom, boom, shot, okay, moving on, that kind of stuff. And I think players love it. I mean, it's a high-scoring offense, as we've seen. And yeah, it's able to get everyone involved. Everyone who's got a shot is willing to shoot, and yeah, it's been awesome.
What's the most important thing, or a couple of things that you learned last year as a freshman that are helping you now as a sophomore?
Yeah, I'd just say how vital it is to, one, obviously be in the weight room, but now it's kind of, I mean, yeah, we still lift, and we make that a point of emphasis, but that was more for me in the summer, just taking every rep, every day seriously in there. But more on the court, just listening to the coach and just going hard every day in practice, on the court, that kind of stuff. Because I know that we got 16 guys, 17 guys on the team that are all very capable of playing out here. I mean, we're all talented and we're all hungry for minutes. So I think that's what's kind of making us great, is we're all pushing each other. We're all highly competitive, and practices have been awesome. So if you don't bring it any day in practice, you're going to get your butt kicked.
Finally, at the risk of wearing out the topic, but in a good way, the Lakeville North tradition continues. Yourself, Jack Robinson, you got Tyler, you got Nate in the past. Do you wear out your teammates maybe, especially like Janicki from White Bear Lake or Crowell, about the tradition that is Lakeville North?
It's not even the tradition with Janicki. It's just like how he thinks White Bear Lake is so much better than Lakeville. And we'll have all of these arguments in the locker room, and me and Jack will go up against him almost every day on how, White Bear Lake has all this tradition. That's what he loves, their tradition. So, yeah, I mean, we get after it down there about that.
So if it was a best-of-7 series, how would that go?
Between Lakeville and White Bear? Oh, my gosh. That's not even a question. That's Lakeville and 4.
Just a clean sweep, right?
But they're Minnesota, so I will give them the respect that they get. I mean, they're a good team. They made the state tournament when I was a senior. Janicki was a large part in that, so they're a good team. They'll put up a fight, but I got Lakeville and 4.
Sounds like we got to get Janicki on here.
Yeah.
Get a rebuttal. He's Nolan Winter. We'll take a break. More to come as we continue with the Badger Sports Report.
At Gruber Lofts, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Lofts today, proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
This is a hallway. Doesn't evoke much feeling. But to those facing cancer or a complex condition, it feels like relief. Because all the doctors, treatments, and technology you've been fighting to find, they're all right here, under one roof, connected by hallways instead of highways. Welcome to East Park Medical Center. UW Health. Remarkable.
Well, in a few minutes, we're going to give our guest a chance to offer a rebuttal from what one of his teammates said about high school basketball in Minnesota. We'll get to that in a few minutes. In the meantime, as we visit with Jack Janicki, fans are getting a good look at him now. It's second year, redshirt freshman. What did you learn last year that's helping you so far this year?
I think I learned that college basketball is really hard, and it takes hard work and trust in your coaches and your teammates if you want to succeed. So those two takeaways just sort of put me into a spot where, I thought I could contribute this year.
And you certainly are. Was there a moment or a stretch of time last year where you felt like, okay, it's really hard, but that you broke through and you're like, okay, yeah, not only do I think I can do this, I know I can do this?
I don't think there's particular moments where you sort of realize that you can compete, just because the process of a season is so long and it takes a while to get better. But as the year went on and I continued to play on the scout team, I did feel myself getting more comfortable out there on the court with players that were competing at a high level out on the main court. So I felt if I could do it in practice, it should translate to a game. So I would say by February to March last year, I felt like, I was a part of the team that could contribute.
So as you transition to being now in the rotation, what was it like the first? It's not like you hadn't played basketball before, but the role has changed. What was it like first time on the floor, part of the rotation this season?
It had been a year and a half since I competed in a basketball game, so yeah, the first couple games were they were honestly just a feeling out process as a freshman, just where I can find my spots, defensively and offensively, where do I need to get better. And as the last couple of weeks have went forward and we've had some hiccups, I think it's been a good experience for me and for the group to just see even more like what we need to improve on.
One of the things that coaches say about you, Jack, is that players, they trust you because you are where you're supposed to be at both ends of the floor. It's another way of saying he's got a really high basketball IQ. Have you always felt like your knowledge of the game has given you a great jump?
Yeah, I think my basketball IQ is probably my number one strength as a player. Just coming from a basketball family, my mom played high-level Division I basketball at Notre Dame, and my dad was just not athletic enough, but he knows enough about the games, and he raised me on Celtics basketball, so I've been watching a lot of basketball, playing a lot of basketball, and naturally I've just sort of gained a feel for the game.
Celtics basketball, you said?
Celtics.
The Boston Celtics.
Big-time Celtics fan. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
How's that go over?
Oh, it's been going great the last year. Inside the locker room, it doesn't go over great, but back home, it goes over real well when we get a championship. Yeah.
You get some of these road games that are at 8 o'clock at night, and you're getting back. It's 1:32 in the morning. How is that? You're living this now. You knew it was coming, but it's one thing to know it's coming. It's another thing to be in the middle of it.
Yesterday was one of those days where we got back. I probably got back to my apartment around 1:30. I think you were with us.
Yeah. Yep.
And I have an accounting exam the next morning at 9:30.
I didn't have.
You
one
didn't
of those.
have that.
No, I did not. No.
So, yeah, that was not a fun thing to do, but school is going to carry me for 40 years after these 4 years that basketball takes me. So, staying locked in on the books is definitely something that I want to keep doing while I'm here.
Yeah. No, smart guy. Okay, now I got to get to the the really meat and potatoes of this. So I had to sit down with Nolan Winter, and I said, okay, how much do you guys talk about this in the locker room? And he said, that's funny you ask. I was talking to Janicki about this. I said, okay, if you have a best-of-7 series, and I think the quote was, that's not even a question. I said,
for
really?
them, no.
Yeah, so he claims it would only take 4 games to take care of it. So now I got to give you the floor here. You go best-of-7, White Bear Lake, Lakeville North. How's that go?
What I would say about Lakeville North is obviously the Wisconsin basketball fan knows a lot about Lakeville North. But that's all Lakeville North has to offer, really. Getting guys to come to Wisconsin is Lakeville North's number one thing. My town's got character. We've got history. We're a hockey town, and that's true to Minnesota. I come from most of my friends in high school were hockey players, and my high school basketball team wasn't as good as Lakeville North historically was, but I love having sort of that small town character, White Bear Lake. I think it's something that Jack and Nolan lack, to be honest. Yeah.
Would you concede that Lakeville North might win the series then against White Bear Lake? Or?
They would win a series of basketball games, but if I was a outsider looking to vacation, I had a week in the summer in Minnesota, I would go to White Bear Lake 7 times out of 7 over Lakeville North.
Yeah.
I'm being completely honest. What camera is it? Yeah. White Bear Lake is a better place to be.
The state of Minnesota has been really good to the Wisconsin Badgers,
been,
and that continues to be the case right now. That's Jack Janicki, White Bear Lake, not from Lakeville North, White Bear Lake, Minnesota. We'll take a break. More to come as we continue with the Badgers Sports Report.
Clear your path to a great career today. Climb to reach your career potential with no loans and no debt, so you can earn while you learn. A Wisconsin Operating Engineer's Apprenticeship is your opportunity to work outdoors and get heavy equipment experience. Partner with your employer for serious pay, great health and pension benefits. Acquire real-world experience while building Wisconsin together. To start your career journey, visit join139.com today.
We believe in education. We believe in public schools. At WEA Member Benefits, we believe in helping Wisconsin public school employees and their families achieve their financial goals by providing personal insurance, retirement and investment, and financial planning programs that are designed specifically for the education community. Proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics, WEAbenefits.com.
The Badger Sports Report is presented by UW Health. UW Health Sports Medicine, treating the Badgers, treating you. And is brought to you by Construction Business Group, Wisconsin operating engineers and respected contractors, building Wisconsin together. And by Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
Well, next week we'll get a recap of the beginning of the Big Ten season. It looks like parity will be the word for this conference again in 2025. The Badgers back on the floor on January 3rd against the Iowa Hawkeyes. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for watching.
This is a hallway. Doesn't evoke much feeling. But to those facing cancer or a complex condition, it feels like relief. Because all the doctors, treatments, and technology you've been fighting to find, they're all right here, under one roof, connected by hallways instead of highways. Welcome to East Park Medical Center. UW Health. Remarkable.
At Gruber Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
My name is Kels Morrissey. I've been with Hy-Vee for 12 years. For 95 years, Hy-Vee was known on its quality and service, and right now that isn't enough, which is why we lowered thousands of prices. It pains me to know that customers are having to choose different retailers, some of which don't offer the quality that Hy-Vee does, just to make ends meet on their grocery shopping. We need to gain the customer's trust back that we have the best prices, and I guarantee you that going forward, we will.